talk about the running game. It's going to take some getting used to, especially for Saquon Barkley, since they were in the same division. But seeing him in that Eagles green it's going to be really weird initially. I'm really going to have to take some time to get used to seeing him in that Eagles green, and I'm sure Giants fans will never get used to seeing him in Eagles green. But I expect him to have a big year, and I expect Josh Jacobs to have a big year. And this is their both debuts with their new teams, two of the best running backs in the NFL. So that's going to be something to watch tonight.
The two guys who were at the center of the offseason and preseason contract controversy, franchise tag, didn't get long-term deals in 2023, finished their contracts, became free agents. There was never any serious belief that Jacobs was going to stay with the Raiders or that Barkley was going to stay with the Eagles. I think in hindsight, if the Giants, had known that Barkley was going to go to the Eagles, maybe they would have approached the situation a little bit differently. But that's what the Giants now have to deal with as Barkley gets ready to get his start in Philadelphia. And on that point, here's Tony Dungy's sit down with Eagles coach Nick Sirianni on this issue of the new running back in Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley.
He's as advertised too. You know, I talked about Kellen and Vic being as advertised. This guy's as advertised. And what's great about Saquon is the play. We all can look at all the plays and it speaks for itself, right? I mean, I always mention this when I talk about him. Like when we played them, he'd make these guys miss on the sideline, and sideline tackling against the Giants every year was like, hey, sideline tackling. You better use that sideline as a friend. You over pursue this, he is going to make you miss. And so now to have that on your team is like, Saquon, going into how great of a teammate he is. When we do sideline tackling drill, he's always out there giving them a sideline look. I mean, because that's what good Vic says this to me, and I've said this to the team a lot, is like good teams have good players. Great teams have great teammates. And Saquon's a great teammate. His play speaks for itself. But what a great teammate. And
has he kind of energized the team a little bit, knowing that he's here? And
anytime you add the talent to the guys, the guys get excited. Anytime, and when you're watching tape as a team, after every practice we watch that tape as a team, not, as a full team, right? I think it's really important to do that where the offense is seeing the mistakes of the defense and vice versa, and the good plays, because I want them to get excited about it. So, yeah, it's energized everybody because we know what a special player he is and what a special teammate he is and what a special person he is.
Sometimes you need a veteran like that who can come in and maybe shake things up. Whatever went wrong for the Eagles last year down the stretch, Saquon Barkley can be a key ingredient in hitting the reset button and moving on from it. We still don't know why specifically things went haywire, and I do have concerns that maybe it's not going to be fixed so quickly, but Barkley can be the key ingredient to forgetting about last year and focusing on this year, especially because his main focus is going to be make the Giants look stupid for not keeping him around.
Well, and that could be his biggest impact, Mike, is in the locker room as a leader, because he is that, and he can be that for the Eagles. And maybe they wouldn't have had the collapse last year that they had if Saquon Barkley had been there. But he's going to have an impact on the field, too, as long as he stays healthy. We know that. He indicated, I was reading, and I couldn't get into the article. I need to further investigate it, but that the Giants stifled him really, and he's going to get his first opportunity to really show what he can do. Well, this is your opportunity, Saquon, to show that the Giants didn't get everything out of you that you think you can be, left some meat on the bone, so to speak. This will be his opportunity this year to show that.
I stifled him. He was the best player they had.
Exactly.
But for injuries, which are inherent to the position, he would have probably been on some historic paces. He would have been Christian McCaffrey, really, over the past several years. He proved that he deserved to be drafted as high as he was back in 2018, second overall pick in that draft by the New York Giants. So he's been spectacular. The real question is, and I think back to the Hard Knocks offseason edition with the New York Giants, I feel like Joe Shane, the GM of the team, had the mindset of running backs are interchangeable. We can find somebody else. You don't overpay anyone at the position. And there were some voices in some of those meetings which was one of the big reasons why I thought it wasn't good for the Giants to have this out there. But there were some folks who were like, Saquon might be different. And that's just an extra little reason for him to be motivated to prove that they got it wrong in not keeping him. So who makes the bigger impact? We've been talking about Josh Jacobs going from the Raiders to the Packers, Barkley going from the Giants to the Eagles. Which of the two do you think makes the bigger impact?
This is the hardest question that we'll face today, Mike, because I don't know. I think they both have an impact. And you said there's certain running backs who are going to have that impact, who deserve to be paid more. And I think both of these guys are. I'll go with Saquon. And the reason is I just think that offense is so good that he's going to have more opportunities because the offense is so good. But on the other hand, Josh Jacobs is going to be a big part of the Packers here. It's a tough question. I'll go with Saquon, but reluctantly, because I think Josh Jacobs is going to have as big an impact in Green Bay as Saquon has in Philadelphia.
I think it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and I'm glancing down here at the contract details. I had forgotten that the Jacobs deal is basically a one-year deal with a year-to-year option held by the Packers after that. Barkley's guaranteed 2 years, so there's going to be a greater urgency with Jacobs to unlock the second year of the deal. And when you've got Jordan Love, all due respect to Jalen Hurts, but Jordan Love has developed into a better passing threat already than a lot of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts isn't the only one that was leapfrogged by Jordan Love last year. But you bring in a battering ram running back to augment that passing game. That's one of the reasons why I think the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. And this is so out of character for the Packers.
Yeah, it is.
They don't spend on free agents. And when they do, it's usually defensive, not offensive. The idea that they went out and chased a guy who plays a position where when you're a draft and develop team, the ultimate draft and develop position is running back. You're going out and paying this guy. And again, it's only $12.5 million. It looks like a bigger risk than it is. I think Jacobs might have the bigger impact because I think we're not anticipating it the same way that we're looking at, hey, Saquon Barkley, he's going to step into that offense and he's going to be dual threat and he's motivated. And I just think we're not paying attention to Jacobs the way we should be, which will lead, as a practical matter, to the perception that he made a bigger impact.
And they're both really good. And I think both have a really big impact on their teams if they stay healthy. And that's been part of the problems, especially with Saquon, is just staying on the field. But if they both do that, I think it's going to be an equal impact for both of them. I think they both really impact their teams. And I think the Raiders and Giants probably are going to look back with some regret that they let these guys go. And I know the philosophy of you pay any running back and they're going to come in and they're going to do it. Cowboys are trying that this year, running back by committee. I don't think it's going to work. I think the Eagles are way better off in their division with a solid running back and Saquon Barkley, one of the best backs in football, than the Cowboys are with an over-the-hill Ezekiel Elliott as their starting running back and Rico Dwaddle coming in and probably getting more carries than Elliott. And I think that's probably going to be a difference for the Eagles winning the division over the Cowboys, is at the running back position.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.